Now, I recommend that we set up checkpoints here and here. The Heroes Association will deploy one hero per checkpoint to aid the police. Meanwhile, the hero Eagle Eye will provide overwatch of southwest downtown. I'm confident we'll be able to spot syndicate activity before they get a chance to leave the area and... What is it, officer? Ah, well. Good morning, sunshine. I'm glad you finally decided to wake up. Or were you just trying to eavesdrop on our conversation? Not that it matters. Any information you learn won't be leaving this police station. And neither will you, I'm afraid. You'd better get used to dark concrete boxes like this interrogation room, because you'll be spending the rest of your life in them. Well, now that you're awake, I think it's time we have a little chat. Officers, if you wouldn't mind giving me the room. I know it's against protocol, but it may be our best chance of getting more information out of our guest here. Don't worry, I can handle them. Thank you. I'll let you know when we're finished. Now, where were we? Ah, right. Discussing the bleak future ahead of you. Do you mind if I sit? I'm still a little tired out from our fight. Oh, I'm slower than you remember, am I? Well, I could say the same about you. Don't forget, you lost that fight. And now you're here. Maybe, just maybe, I've aged better than you. Did that strike a nerve? I see your tongue is still as sharp as it was all those years ago. It's one of your qualities that I'd never forget. But that's about where the similarities end. You're certainly not the wide-eyed, big-hearted, up-and-coming hero that I trained with. And me? Well, I guess I'm not the same either. I suppose time catches up to us all, old friend. You know, the other heroes didn't want me in here with you. They don't trust me to be impartial, objective. They won't say it to my face, but I can see it. When your identity as the masked villain was revealed, I could feel the eyes of everyone in the Heroes Association on me, waiting for me to slam my hands down and scream that it wasn't true. That there was no way that the friend I had known since we joined the Heroes Association as sidekicks, the friend that was with me through it all, was the latest addition to the Hadean Syndicate. The infamous group of villains that govern the criminal underworld, whose 6 members have codenames that are fittingly based upon the gods of the underworld in Greek mythology. Oh, I know that you know all of this already, even before you turned. You sat through countless briefings on the activities of the Hadean Syndicate when we were hunting down their agents and busting their operations. You know, if there weren't cameras in every corner of this room and 20 armed police officers on the other side of that door, I'd beat the crap out of you. Everything you stood for, everything you accomplished as a hero. It's all gone. Your fellow heroes see you only as a threat, a villain, and you've given them every reason to believe so. But your little destruction spree has run its course. You're all played out. The only reason you aren't on your way to prison is because I believe you can still be of use. Your career as a villain is relatively new, but from what I've read, you've made quite the name for yourself, correct? Enough to gain an audience with the Hadean Syndicate. And not only that, but to be made the 7th member. You're part of them now. You have information on the other members, and you're going to tell me everything. You don't know what I'm talking about. Well, allow me to refresh your memory. These are the files of the other Syndicate members. I know you can recite them backwards, because I tested you on them when we sat our Heroes exam. Now, I'm not stupid. I don't expect you to know anything about the Syndicate's leader. We don't even know what Hades looks like, never mind what his powers are. Simply that they're strong enough to keep everyone else terrified of him. But let's recap the others. The Hadean Syndicate comprises of 6 members, not including you, each of which has a code name that is based upon the gods and goddesses present in Hades' underworld. Some members prefer to work behind the scenes, barely ever seen in public, and prefer to run their operations through their enforcers, or Erinyes, which literally translates to the deities of punishment. The first member on file here is Charon, the ferryman of the dead, who oversees the black market organ dealing, using his necromancy powers to literally walk the bodies directly to customers. Next we have Hecate, the goddess of magic, who runs the drug farms which she hides in the pocket dimensions she creates with her powers. And finally, Cronus, the god of time, Syndicate money launderer and manager of finances. We know he can see into the future through a process that puts him into a meditative state that he cannot wake from, often lasting for weeks at a time. Now, I don't believe that you weren't informed of anything about their activities. How do their powers work? Is there a way to trace the dimensional rifts? Does Cronus meditate inside a rift? Where does Charon's bodies come from? Staying quiet. You think they'll thank you for that? You lost your credibility as a Syndicate member the second you were caught. But alright, I'll play along. As I said, although some members prefer to be more inconspicuous, others prefer a more hands-on approach, such as Thanatos, the god of death, and his armies of reapers who serve as the muscle of the Syndicate. We fought them many a time, so both you and I know their bloodlust, especially since Thanatos' ability to increase his durability and strength comes from the regular consumption of human life force. He's a literal soul eater who thrives on violence and bloodshed and will stop at nothing to drain the entire world dry. Or Nyx, the goddess of the night. Ability: teleportation when unobserved, either by the human eye or by security cameras. She and her legion of assassins destabilize governments and destroy international relations. Last we heard, she was seen in this city. An interesting development seeing as the GHC, the Global Hero Conference, is next week. A master assassin spotted in the same location as the meeting of superhero organisations and government diplomats from across the world. Convenient. What are the Syndicate planning? You should know that Nyx won't even be able to get close to anyone in that conference. Not only will every government politician and diplomat have their own personal hero as a bodyguard, but the entire room is under constant CCTV, with the footage being streamed directly into the eyeballs of said heroes through our latest biotech contact lenses. With the entire room and the contents of every monitor and television screen in said room being streamed directly into the eyes of over 100 heroes, there's no way your assassin can teleport to the bathroom without us knowing. Your plan has failed before it's even begun. This is your chance to save yourself. A judge may take your status as a former hero into consideration if you cooperate with us. All you have to do is tell me as much as you can about the Syndicate's operations. But this offer won't last forever. Once we capture Nyx, if she talks first, the offer's gone. What happened to you? You were happy before this, before the Syndicate, weren't you? Hypnos, the deity of sleep. A fitting codename, given your powers of mind control. Putting your targets into a trance-like state through eye contact. Whether that be through direct eye contact or, like Nyx, through a television screen or monitor. I used to be so jealous of your power. But not only that, but how aware you were of it. The respect that you had for both your and other heroes' abilities, and the pressure you put on us all to use them only for good. You taught me how to better control my own powers and use them non-lethally. I didn't even believe there was a way to supercharge the atoms in the air without blowing a hole straight through someone. But you showed me otherwise. Taught me how to use my energy fields as propulsion to fly. To charge my lasers enough to stun or disarm. I even took your advice for my superhero name. Flashpoint. The moment of combustion. Fits my powers rather nicely. You taught me how to be better, and now I'm one of the Hero Association's core members. A position that was meant for you, not me. But all this, hypnos, mind-controlled enslavement, this isn't you, partner. The you that I knew and adored, who would avoid eye contact with the cashier if they gave you the incorrect change because you were scared you would accidentally mind-control them into fixing their error. Who on missions would conjure up the most brilliant plans to achieve the mission whilst minimising risks to heroes and civilians. And who would spend hours explaining them to me, crafting them so intricately and with such intimacy that it was almost as if you were showing me a piece of your soul. But not anymore. I've seen Hypnos countless times on the news, as your thralls unleash brutal assaults. Still calculated, but cold, unfeeling. I thought I'd be happy to catch you, partner. I want to be. I want to force myself to celebrate. To bask in the glory of taking down a syndicate member. But I can't bring myself to do any of that. Because you aren't Hypnos, partner. No, I will not stop calling you partner because that's who you are. You're my partner. My hero. My friend. The day I call you Hypnos is the day that I accept my partner is dead and never coming back, and that's a world I can't live in. Even as you glare at me with scathing hatred, your eyes are the same I've always known, full of determination and a spark with a meaning I'll never be able to decipher. But now they carry a new element. Weariness. You may think you're a villain, that you've changed, but I can see it. You carry it with you, no matter how hard you don't want to. The weight of the people you've harmed, the things you've done, all the terrible things. Why? Why did you do it? Why go against everything you stood for, everything we stood for? Oh, God damn it, will you say something? Why did you turn your back on being a hero? Why? You were the best of us, a prodigy with the potential to become one of the greats. You were everything I wanted to be. Sure, the life of a hero wasn't always easy, but it was right. It was decent. And it was all you talked about. Everything you did, every breath you took, was in service of the greater good. This week's meeting of the Global Heroes Conference is to pass the treaty giving heroes the jurisdiction to operate above international and state law, to chase villains across the planet without the government red tape. It will finally allow us to capture the Hadian Syndicate without having to create an international paper trail warning them that we're coming. When it was first suggested years ago, you said it yourself that this would be the best thing since the founding of the Heroes Associations around the world. And now you want to help the Syndicate attack that very same conference? It's insane, it's evil, it's not you. But it's never too late to stop. And you don't have to do it alone. I want to help you. To be by your side as you right your wrongs and pick up the pieces of your life. I only wish I could have been there for you sooner. Before all the terrible, terrible things that you've done. Well, now your plans are foiled. The conference will proceed as planned. And once the agreement is signed, there won't be a dark corner on Earth that the Syndicate can hide from us in. Don't give me that smirk. That damned smirk. You're in a cell, for God's sake. You have nothing to smile about. This is strictly a professional visit. I've tried to convince myself that the person I knew, that I loved, is gone. And I've spent the past few months hunting their corpse. But I can't. I won't. No matter how much easier it would be for me to believe it, I will always hope that I'm wrong. That one day you'll see the light again. That you'll come back to me. It's getting late. I need to go and prepare for the conference. Take care of yourself, partner.